Just like John Terry buying his wife an NFT of herself as a monkey for Christmas, here's another terrible idea. It's First Time Ball episode 3. A less busier than usual, festive Stephen's Day schedule. Had some games called off for more COVID outbreaks, and a couple of more denied on who knows what the fuck grounds, because the Premier League seem to be just making it up as they go along. And sure aren't we all? The 30-year-old, too young to remember Paul Scholes, delusional Chelsea fan, and upset United guy are here once again to cover everything that's been going on in the Premier League this past week. How is the form, lads? Happy Christmas to everyone.
Christmas to you too. Not too bad. Good result at the weekend, or during the week, so we're doing well. We're moving on and past the crisis.
Moving on up. Are you back? Are Chelsea back? Is that that's the statement you're putting out?
Just gonna get put on TikTok and I'm gonna get more abuse.
Chelsea are back, bitch.
We're coming for the league. No, it was a good result. Hopefully it just means Lukaku's back to form. That's all I want. Want Lukaku banging in goals for fun, and Chelsea just playing somewhat decent football again. I wouldn't say we're back. We're getting top 4, but we're not back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going with.
Yeah, I mean, top 4 wasn't ever really in doubt, I don't think, was it? Surely?
No, it wasn't, no.
Couple of dodgy results. I don't think you were ever
we were never in too much trouble.
Dropping below, say, like, United or somebody.
Christ.
Touchy subject.
We're going to start on United, I suppose. Because,
well, we can if we want, or we can. I tell you what, we'll give you some time to collect yourself, get yourself ready for a rant. All right, a little TikTok 2.0. We'll take a look at some of the other fixtures that came out. The new fixtures just dropped. Results that happened on Stephen's Day. So Liverpool's game against Leeds was called off because basically Leeds, I'm pretty sure, have like one fit player in the whole fucking squad at this point. Like between injuries and COVID and everything, they don't have a hope of putting out a team. So Liverpool didn't play. So that's great. Thanks for that, COVID. City versus Leicester was a fucking thriller.
9-goal thriller. Wow.
My God, I was watching it. I put it on because there was fuck all else on, and City went like 4-0 up inside, I think, 20 minutes or something. And I remember texting you even before the game when Leicester announced their team. I was like, Leicester are going to get absolutely trashed here. I don't know why Rodgers decided to play just kind of half a team. Like, it wasn't, they weren't missing everybody, but he didn't start Ndidi and he didn't start Jamie Vardy. And he had a couple of young lads out and shit, like the Carabobbins Cup loss to Liverpool really
affected them.
Took it out of him. I think he decided that he was going to go for the cup rather than the league. He just said, City, we're never going to beat City. So he just said, fuck it, we'll go for the cup. And he still lost. So City, but it ended up being, so from 4-0 or whatever the fuck it was at halftime, Leicester brought back to 4-3, and then City ended up winning at 6-3. But we had do you know every once in a while that like there's a screenshot of like the Stephen's Day or Boxing Day scores from whatever 1965 or whatever it was, and it was all like 7-5, 6-0, 8-2 and all this. We weren't like, they gave it a good go this year. Like we had a 6-3, 5-0, 3-0, 3-2, 3-1, 2-0.
Still don't think we're going to beat that.
Not bad.
Day, though.
No, probably not. But like this is a close enough one. Arsenal cruised to another win against Norwich. To be fair, I mean Norwich are. Come on, it's the same as I think what we said when they beat Leeds was a 4-1 or something. Like Norwich or fucking Norwich. Like realistically, you should be beating Norwich by that much.
If you though, to be fair,
you beat what's in front of you.
They did, yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Look, they're Arsenal are. They're looking good against shit teams, which is, you should look good against shit teams if you want to be in the conversation for any sort of a higher table finish. Like you should be walking all over these teams. So it's not really a surprise, but still they look like something at the minute has clicked a little bit at Arsenal. They're not like they're playing well. Again, I think the issue is that if they get an injury to any of these young players, I think the whole thing starts to fall apart. Like, because they need they need this exact 11 out, and they all need to be firing for them to kind of have any go. It'll be interesting to see them when they come up against a good team again, because every time they've done that so far this season, they've not done well. Spurs beating Palace 3-0. Now Palace had a red card. I think Zaha got sent off for just absolute stupidity when he was already on a yellow. Like, it was just he just kind of lost the head a little bit.
I'd be worried for Spurs, to be honest. Spurs look really good under Conte. Like, Conte is, like, even against Liverpool, they should have won that game, and he hasn't playing. Like, and the thing about him is he's probably top 5 managers in the world at the minute, and that Spurs team isn't great. Like, there's not much depth in the squad, but yeah, I'd be concerned now at the minute with them for fourth.
Yeah, I think it's hard to look past Conte, as bad as, or like as little as you would think Spurs had or have had, especially under like Nuno. Conte is just
he's different gravy
sauce, really, isn't he? Like, I think he still has a mountain to climb. I think this Spurs job is a bigger job than he's ever had before in terms of like having to turn the team around and get them firing again. And realistically, they're not going to come anywhere near a Premier League title or anything unless they give him a bit of cash or something. But
even at that, like, he's never going to outwit Pep and Klopp. Like, no. Like, but like, third place is probably the best he can do.
But this Spurs team, their starting 11 is definitely good enough to get top 4.
On paper, anyway.
It has always been. Like, it's when you look at the players they have, if they're all playing well. If he gets Dele Alli firing again to what
and
he
it looks
used
like he is,
or what he was,
he played class.
It looks like he has Kane playing as well.
Yeah,
it's a bit late to
Kane
to get the Jets going.
I don't know.
To make any sort of an impact, anyway.
He's, if the one way he'll get Kane going again is through some sort of personal glory. If he tells Harry Kane he still has a chance of winning the Golden Boot, Harry Kane will go, all right, so.
He tells Harry Kane he still has a chance to leave the club.
He's back in the goals, though.
You got us back top 4, Harry, and I'll sell you in the summer for pennies. I don't give a shit. You can go to whoever you want. Who'll have him at this stage?
Nobody. The season he's having anyway.
Nah, he's
maybe Barcelona.
The price of him now. That bridge is burnt. Like, I don't think they can leave because they'll want 100 million for him, and he's coming to, what is he, 29, 30 now?
I'm actually not sure.
I think he's turning 30 now, or he is 30 already.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, well, Pep dropped another little dig at them again. Was it just before Christmas they were asking about, because they've sold Ferran Torres to Barcelona for stupid money in what is definitely a dodgy deal. But they asked him something about it, and his reply in the press conference was like, well, the way we work here at Manchester City is if a player wants to leave, we don't force him to stay at a club against his will.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
he's still sour about that, isn't he?
He's so sour that he had to go out and buy Jackie Grealish instead of Harry Kane. Yeah. Like, he's a little rotter, boy.
Christ.
Oh, he is. He's sick. That's like the second or third dig he's made at Spurs this season over Harry Kane, which, to be fair, like, I don't think they need digs. Like, I'd say they're kicking themselves. Like, they could have literally put a spine in that team without Harry Kane, and they didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, they should have taken the money for him, because he's not. Harry Kane is. I don't think he's the type of player that's going to keep playing at that level into his 30s. I don't see him being like your Ronaldo and Messi, and even like the likes of
and all that jazz.
Ibra and all them that just keep going into their 30s.
Yeah.
I just can't. I'd say he's one of those that, like, almost a Rooney type. He's going to hit 31, 32, and it's just going to start going.
And he's already plateaued. You can see it.
Out
like even last season wasn't as good as the season before that, and it's like a slow decline.
Yeah, I think he
you know what I mean?
hit his peak early. Yeah, definitely. But West Ham, another loss.
West Ham are kind of falling into it. They're not no top 4 for them now anyway. Like, I know it was an outside shout anyway, but they've declined serious. But then, do they have the squad to play Premier League and Europa? Like, is that what's happening? Is it finally taking its toll, the amount of games they've had?
I think they're more focused on Europa now than the league. I think they are doing it better than they expected. In the Europa League, like, they topped their group. and they only lost once, and that was the final game. And I think they're doing a lot better than they expected in Europa, so I wouldn't be surprised if their main focus is to try and get a decent run in the Europa League, or if not to win it, and try and make a fucking
The only
point
thing
of
is
it.
they qualified for Europa 6 weeks ago easily, like, and since then their decline in the Premier League has
Yeah.
been actually shocking.
Suppose, yeah.
I wonder if you're the West Ham owners now, the two boys, Gold and the other fella. Surely you look at this now, at this January transfer window coming up, and like, is this not their best chance to do something? Like, if just give David Moyes, obviously they don't have a fortune to give him, but if you give him a little bit to make a couple of signings just to strengthen, just to pad out the squad for the amount of games that they have coming. Because realistically, like, this is probably the best chance West Ham, this season I'd say is the best chance West Ham have of doing something with this squad. Because everybody else is going to strengthen. At least if they don't do it in January, they're going to do it next summer. Like, everybody else is going to get better. And I feel like if it's kind of a now or never thing, like, that this squad is like, because it's not like this West Ham team is full of young players either. And the couple of young stars that they have, the likes of Declan Rice and them, are probably gone in the summer. I'd say this is their last season at West Ham for a couple of them. Even Jared Bowen and them lot, I'd say, are probably gone. So maybe they throw him, but they had a loss to Southampton is not great, like,
especially with how poor Southampton.
They did play though. They were playing Spurs though midweek, weren't they? A couple of days ago, which actually kicked Spurs off the park. They were really unlucky. They got knocked out of the cup, so it could be just a hangover from that game. But like, literally kicked Spurs. They should. I don't know how they didn't win that game. They reset a worldly of a game. So it could be a hangover from that. Like, but they do look like they're dropping back. I think the best West Ham can do now in the Premier League this season is probably 6th, 7th, to be honest.
Try stay in the Europa League spot.
I think win the Europa. You win the Europa, you get Champions League. Like, and to be honest, bar Dortmund, Barca are in it, ain't they? But like West Ham, I'd be going for that Europa. Like, you win that, you get into the Champions League, and you win a trophy. Like, so I'd say they will be going for that. Like, because she might as well finish 7th or 8th.
If that's what you're gonna go for.
You're not going. I don't think, like, there's Spurs going to be ahead of them. Arsenal, I think, will be probably level with him, and I don't know where United are going to be with him. So there's them 4 teams. Like, I think they're after each of them. I think they're behind Arsenal, United, and Spurs in the league. I think they'll finish. So
yeah, I mean, looking at the league table now, West Ham are a point behind Spurs, but Spurs have 2 games in hand at this stage. Like, now, they're all, a lot of them are probably playing this evening, but still, Spurs will have 2 games in hand. West Ham have a game in hand on Arsenal, but they're 7 points off them as it stands. So it's like they're level on points with United, but United have a game in hand.
Means nothing.
So it's interesting to see where West Ham will end up. Last game that was on Stephen's Day then was Brighton v Brentford. Brighton won that one 2-0.
2-0.
That was an awfully
good win for
boring
Brighton.
game,
were you watching that game?
No, I was I was following it. There was a live tweet thing. I was gonna watch it, but then, to be honest, I wasn't really enthralled by the Brighton and Brentford tagline that Sky Sports had. So I was kind of like, yeah.
Was that on
Or
Sky?
not Sky, sorry, it was on BT, and because it was on after the Chelsea game, and I just kind of followed it, like the live tweets of it, and I was just kind of paying attention to it. But a lot of people underneath it were saying that it was the most boring game of football I've ever watched. So I was kind of glad I didn't sit down to watch the full 90 minutes, but I suppose it's a good result for Brighton.
Yeah, it was. Was it? I saw the highlights only after. Was it? Who got the first goal? Was it Trossard, or whoever the fuck it was? It was on a lovely finish. It was Trossard, yeah, Leandro Trossard for Brighton. Lovely little chip at the keeper on the half volley. It was nice goal. Now, to be fair, and Neil Maupay got the second one for Brighton, and he apparently used to play for Brentford, which I had no idea of, and he didn't celebrate, which is a weird thing to see between clubs like Brighton and Brentford.
He played for Brentford for a while, though, I think.
It's a strange one, but did he? I honestly haven't. Is that who Brighton signed him from?
For 20 million.
Ah.
20 million.
He's a good player. I could see
There's a
him
lot.
going to like a
I
bigger
think.
club.
I was just. Yeah, I was just about to say he's not a bad little player. Like if he, like I think if you put him in a bigger team with some better players around him,
He'd be good in like a Leicester or a West Ham.
very well.
The likes.
Yeah. Oh, he is only 25, so he still has a few years. Like I'd say, if Brighton ended up going down, he'd be one of the players that would get
signed
to another Premier League side. I'd say. Yeah, definitely. Because Brighton are doing okay. They're 9th. Brentford are dropped to 13th after that result now. But still, like, they're 13th, but they're still 9 points off the relegation zone at this, like, right now, which is a good season for Brentford.
The relegation zone is getting a lot tighter now as well. There's like 3 points separating the majority of them, isn't there?
You have Norwich, bottom of the table, on 10 points. Then Newcastle and Burnley both on 11 points. Then Watford are on 13 points. And then it jumps up to 16. Leeds on 16. And then Everton are on 19.
6 points between 5 teams, though, isn't that bad? You know, it looks couple of results go different ways, and the bottom 3 changes.
Yeah. It looks like... It doesn't look, when you look at it that way, it doesn't look as bad for Newcastle and Norwich.
Yeah.
Like, it's not completely unsalvageable yet. Like, they could, if one of them went on a little bit of a half-decent run and beat a couple of the teams that are down there with them, suddenly they're out of the relegation zone. There's one game in it, realistically. Like, and Burnley have, looking at it here, Burnley have, like, 4 games in hand.
Jesus.
Burnley have only played 15 games. Right now,
they've had so many
Newcastle
games called off, haven't they?
Yeah, Newcastle and Norwich have played 19 and 18, so I wouldn't worry about Burnley maybe too much at the minute.
Well, those games in hands mean shite, though, because you know what the Premier League are going to do to them? They're going to put about 3 of them in fucking 6 days, and they'll be knackered and end up probably throwing 2 of them, like.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, that's fair.
To do that, like, you know what I mean? Like, you get the game in hands and you're like, oh, should we have this? But yeah, you're going to throw them in there like a day and a half after a game, and it's just going to wreck your team momentum. They did United last season near the end of it, like, they're constantly doing it. The fixture list is too much anyway. But Newcastle, like, I don't know, like, they had a stat there not so long ago that I think was like the first team they went that long without losing that, or without winning that, if no one had survived that stat, like. But sure, you look at the distance between now and a couple of the bottom teams, you're like, anyone can go down there, anyone at all. Like, you know, there's no out now. I would have said Newcastle and Norwich. In fact, I think Norwich will go down.
Yeah, Norwich will go down.
But you know, there's no you don't know. Like, it depends on January, I suppose, with Newcastle, doesn't it? But
I can't see them going overly
definitely
crazy in January, though. Like, what player is going to say, yeah, fuck it, let's go and join relegation candidates Newcastle and try and fucking salvage something? They won't sign anyone.
Players that will never touch 200 grand, players that will never get offered that money will. So they will. You'll have the likes of Jesse Lingard will be offered probably 200 grand a week. Like, you'll have them kind of players that are decent players that wouldn't be offered that kind of money. Will be offered, because it's only chance of Newcastle saving, because if they get relegated, they can't go down to the Championship and spend 200 million on with financial fair play. They're going to have such a loss, like. So they could end up with a thing of doing Championship for a few years and they're just trying to get players out of Manutd to get up. But like, if they go down, they're in trouble. But if they go and flash 100 million and get out of it, they save the club and probably end up contending for the league in the next 5 years. So I'd say they'll be pushing wages big time. They'll be going for people that are nearly out of contract that they can get probably for 20 million, that's cheap, and then offer them like 200 grand a week. That's the way I'd see them do business.
It's the way they have to do it, really, isn't it? Like, they're not gonna. It's like bit part, like bench players at bigger clubs who want more game time and are willing to and want like a heap of money. The likes of Lingard and Anthony Martial and those kind of players at United, and like players at a couple of other clubs as well that are like kind of, they're clearly not good enough to start for the likes of like United or Chelsea or Liverpool, but they're not gonna play for like a fucking, you know, they're definitely Premier League quality players like that. that at this stage in their career, they want the money and they want to guarantee you playing every week. I think is what happens. And I look at it now, like Newcastle, speaking of the last result, yesterday's result was Newcastle versus United. And Newcastle, first of all, I thought played really well.
They did, yeah.
It's the first time I think I could say that it looks like Eddie Howe had finally gotten them to play for him. Like the team, they obviously don't have the quality, like especially at the back. Like that Dubravka is a fucking moron.
He's terrible.
Between him and Jamal Lascelles and Kieran Clark or whoever the fuck they start at centre half, they haven't got a clue. They just don't know what they're doing. Like, so it's not, it's not necessarily. It's just down to that the players are not good enough, but they at least look like they wanted to play yesterday for the most part. Like Joe Linton looks like a different player the last couple of games.
Yeah, they won every first ball yesterday. Every single ball they were first to. Like, they were hungrier, they were angrier, they were just better all over the pitch. Like, they deserved to win that game. If it wasn't for a David De Gea masterclass, they would have won it and probably won it like 3-4-1. Like, I thought they were really good yesterday. And it's hard to gauge that because you'll see them go to the next game. Now, there'll be a lot said because United are so bad. Like, I'm going to go off on one here. We are absolutely shocking. I can't see us getting top 4. Like, there's so many players in that team. Like, I looked at the starting 11 yesterday before kickoff, like, and I just looked at it and I was like, honestly, like, I was just like, McFred, like, McTominay and Fred in that midfield are absolutely atrocious. Like, they wouldn't save that Newcastle team in midfield. Like, they wouldn't. If you put them in it, they would not see an increase in form. Rashford is so done. Like, it's so frustrating to watch him. Like,
he's useless.
Like, he's absolutely an amazing person, and I think that's why he's at the club. It's terrible that he's at the club for that reason, but he is in the worst vein of form I've ever seen him in. Like, all he does is run into trouble, run into 2 or 3 defenders and just stop, does the shank with the foot, still stands, moves the foot, and then decides to run into 3 defenders. I honestly don't know why he's starting. I'd have Greenwood starting instead of 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. I don't think they're playing for him. I don't think they give a fuck, half of them, to be honest. I think half of them don't care. I think the team is split. I think there's definitely falling outs in there. There's just no style of play. And I don't blame Ralph. The only thing I blame him for, and I don't really blame him, but like, take the captaincy off Harry Maguire. The man got turned about 4 times yesterday, like, absolutely left for dead against Newcastle. Like, and these are the games Burnley and Newcastle, like United, like Harry Maguire should be doing well. They should be commanding games, and he's not. He was absolutely shocking yesterday, like, and he's so slow. Like, the entire team, I honestly don't know where it's going to go for us. Like, I don't know. Like, none of them are playing. Like, none of them are playing. Ronaldo, all he wants to do is whinge. I get it. If he had been given 3 to 4 chances yesterday, he probably would have scored 3 goals. He will take chances. He won't miss. Like, he wasn't given any chances. Any chances we had kind of fell to Cavani, who is a breath of fresh air, to be honest. The way he plays, the way his determination, he plays for the badge. He's not about anything else but that. But Ronaldo was just annoying the shit out of me yesterday. All he was doing was whinging. Like, you're 37. I understand his frustrations, but put your arm around some of the fucking players and try to get the better out of them. Like, throwing your hands up in the air and stropping is not going to do anything. Walking off at the end after the fans going to fucking Newcastle to see your team play is not going to do anything. So, it's frustrating to watch. And, like, yeah, I don't know where we're going to be, to be honest. I don't see us getting top 4 because there's no, like, Burnley, I think we have next. Our next 2 games are big to watch for United. Like, if we turn out and play the way we are, like, maybe we'll come out and absolutely smash Burnley next week. And it's a thing of, we had 16 days off. It was COVID. The players were a little leggy. Like, but if the next 2 games are going to be massive, if we play the way we played against Newcastle, our season's done, dusted. We're not finishing in the top 6.
Fucking hell.
And tell me this, Shane. Can I ask you this? Is it Ronaldo's fault?
No, it's
the whole thing Ronaldo's fault.
No, it's not Ronaldo's fault. It's not Ronaldo's fault. Like, it goes to him. Like, yeah, his attitude is absolutely stinking at the moment. But like, he's a 30-goal a season player. Like, so you can't he's not getting service, and he will score if he's given service. Like, I don't understand what Donny has to do to get into that team. Like, even if Donny is not up to the task, why not put him in there and be not up to the task the same way fucking McTominay and Fred are? Like, he literally can play a forward ball. McTominay tried yesterday, and usually he's just king of sideway passing, but he tried yesterday, and about every time he tried to play a forward ball, he just didn't hit whoever he's playing it to. Like, it's just shocking. Like,
Van de Beek must be shocking in training.
There has to be something he's
I
not
don't know
like
what the issue
genuinely.
is there. The only thing is
Does he
COVID.
does he not do a tap in training, like, or what's the story there? Because it's not.
No, it's not
you'd say-
that. I'm telling you. I feel like Donny had COVID. He was one apparently that had COVID, and I think maybe he was knackered because the camera wasn't in on him yesterday. He brought on Matic, before Donny, so I think maybe Donny could be one of the players that's suffering from because it's not. He's done. I'd be going in January if it wasn't yesterday that you can't get a run against Newcastle and we're getting played off the park. Like, I just honestly don't know. Like, we're not any different than Solskjaer, and Solskjaer deserved to go. There's no doubt about that. Like, but the players, half of them players shouldn't be wearing that fucking shirt. Like, and I can't actually get over how bad Rashford is. Like,
I just think it's like it's the same way Kane is like Tottenham's golden boy, that Rashford is United's golden boy. Comes up from the academy, does all the charity work. He was class in his first few years. He's just a good, like, PR move to have a player like him at their club.
Yeah.
So it looks like United are forerunners in, like, helping with, I suppose, like, charitable shite, and not shite, but you know what I mean, like charitable things, and the way he's what, an MMOBE or OMB, whatever the fuck it is. He's probably going to get knighted eventually.
The Queen sucked him off. Or whatever.
He's probably going to get knighted in a few years if he keeps going. And it just looks good for.
I think you're on the money with that, Adam. It is like I'd say any manager comes in, I'd say it's probably a thing of you have to be starting Rashford. You have to be playing, because I don't know how he's starting. Like, he's been shocking. He's been terrible since he came back from injury. His form wasn't great before it, and I put a lot of it down to the injury, because I was like, he's playing, he's not fit. So I kind of thought, but he's not playing. And the biggest thing is he doesn't look arsed. His body language is shocking.
I would
doesn't
say
look bothered.
I think that's the biggest problem with the whole team, to be honest. Like, there's even watching them against Newcastle yesterday. And I was surprised to see Gary Neville brought this up on Monday Night Football after the match as well, that the players, aside from Cavani, who was the one player on the pitch, like, there was a moment yesterday where Alex Telles let the ball run out for a throw because he thought it came off a Newcastle player, and it hadn't, and it went out for a Newcastle throw. And Cavani spent a good 3 to 4 minutes screaming at Telles.
Yeah.
Like, basically just saying, stop, why you being an idiot? Like, it clearly I kicked it, and I was passing, and it went out off a United player. Like, that was their throw. You could have kept that ball in, and you're stop being a fucking idiot, is basically what he was saying to him. Like, and he's the only player on the pitch that you could look at and maybe say he wants to play for United. He knows that United should be better than this. And the rest of them,
be the only one that cares.
Like Neville. I think that's the issue, is that a lot of the players that United have are all kind of like fucking poster boy footballers. They're all like, they're Pogba types. They're all like Pogba and Martial and Rashford and all this. It's like football is secondary to all the other shit that they have going on, where be it like image rights and fucking sponsorship
for the
deals
clout rather than the football.
All this kind of shit. Like, yeah, it's very much that kind of way. The core of the squad is just rotted. There's an awful lot of, like, if I was in there and if I was Ragnick, I'd be looking at this January immediately getting rid of a bunch of players. And I think he's starting already, because Martial is going, as far as we're aware. He's gone. Like,
he's gone. Yeah.
So,
but to be fair, Ragnick has come out and he's been straight as a dialect. But the thing is, I don't know, like, we played half an hour press against Crystal Palace and absolutely played them off the park. And since that, the press is gone. And I'm like, are the players just not like, oh, no, this is too much effort. I don't fancy running that much. Because we still don't have a style of play. And this is not on the manager. You cannot continuously blame the manager. Solskjaer was out of his depth. And I think that probably, a lot of the players were probably saved by him being out of his depth, because everyone kind of went, Rashford's not been coached enough to know it's Solskjaer's fault, when now Solskjaer's gone and a class manager's in. and he's still shocking. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we're going, but it's not top 4. I can't see it happening unless the next couple of games we start playing. Like, we've had 16 days since our last game was, and I don't know how many training sessions that was, how many of the team. But Christ Almighty, you're playing 19th place Newcastle, who are absolutely shocking and have 11 points odd this season. Like, you know, you should be beating that. Like, you should be beating that team easy.
And like you said, they should have lost. Like, Saint Maximin should have 100% should have scored a second. I don't know how he missed. He made a hymns of that one.
He did, yeah.
And now he's injured now as well for Newcastle. They lost him and Callum Wilson both went off injured yesterday, so now they're in even more trouble. But there's a problem at United, and at this point I think it's clear to see why. Like, clearly Ollie wasn't the one, but he wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the biggest issue. Like, he was never going to be the one to turn this squad into winners. But this squad does not want to be turned into winners. They look like they just can't be arsed. I think it was interesting, or not even interesting, it was just funny to see Neville, now that Ollie's his best pal is gone, he's finally willing to talk a bit of shit about United and the squad and the players and stuff like. And he basically put most of it on Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes.
And I feel like Neville's full of shit, to be honest. Like, you come out now and say, go away, you fucking spent 6 months like defending Solskjaer when we were absolutely dreadful, and it was down to Solskjaer's management, Solskjaer telling everyone, hey, let's have a party, you have a contract, you have a contract, yeah, we'll play, when like so many people are like giving Mata a contract, giving Lingard a contract, or telling Lingard he was going to play. He literally lied to so many players, and the balance of the team is on Solskjaer. And he doesn't mention the English players. Like, why hasn't he said about Rashford? Like, it's always the same with the English pundits and Sky Sports. They always push it on the foreign players and never bring it home. Like, Harry Maguire is abysmal, and I think Gary Neville did call him out yesterday. But why didn't he say it straight out? Take the captaincy off him, take it off him now, and fucking give it to someone who's a captain, like Cavani. Like, he didn't call out Rashford, who's been absolutely shocking for the last year, who's not good enough to wear a United shirt. But yeah, Ronaldo and Bruno deserve criticism too, but it's like anyone bar Cavani and David De Gea deserve criticism, and Gary Neville will only hand it out to certain people. Like,
I think it goes back to that whole thing of friends in the club, that if he's seen to be bashing United constantly, that he's going to upset his friends in United, and it's going to ruin different things. Like, I'm sure he doesn't want his ties with United broken if, for say, he leaves Sky Sports or whatever. He'll have United to fall back on or something as a job. But if he's seen talking shit on Sky Sports, take the captaincy off Maguire, do this, do that, they're going to be like, no. And he'll just get brushed aside.
And I think, like, Ronaldo is, like, he's been mentioned constantly this season with our problems, people blaming, but, like, he didn't get service yesterday. If he missed 3 to 4 chances, you could say, you know, but, like, he didn't. No, he wasn't good either, like, but, like, he didn't have any chances. The service, like, a couple of times when he got through, he wasn't giving it. Like, Sancho played a terrible ball to him when he got through at one stage, made a run. But I don't know how it's going to be sorted, to be honest, because, like, Rangnick's in there on a 6-month contract. Do these players even take him serious? Like, are they in there going, you're only here for fucking 6 months, you're going back now.
I honestly don't think. I think that might be it, to be honest, because the players know, everybody knows that Rangnick is, I'd say, it's not 100%, but it's almost definitely is not going to be managing this team after the summer.
Yeah.
At the end of this season, he's gone. He's going to step into his director of football role. And I think the players and the club and everybody around it, Ralph Rangnick probably himself, he's using this 6-month period to, all he's doing is learning the squad, getting to know the players, seeing what they're like. And that'll help him then in the summer when he steps into director of football to know which ones are gone. That's it. Because he'll have played with them and he'll know, no, you're not good enough, you get the fuck out of here. And he'll actually know the squad, and he'll know
who's worth keeping.
He'll be able to sell them. He'll know who should stay at the club and who should go. And if the players looked at it that way, that like this 6 months, not only is it that they should be doing better because they're supposedly world-class footballers, but the next half of the season should be them saying to Rangnick, even though he's not going to be the manager, he's going to be the one who decides whether or not you stay at this club from the summer on. And we know that, like, regardless of what manager comes in, the manager that they bring in is going to answer to Ragnick when it comes to transfers and stuff like that. That's what Ragnick's job is going to be. It's going to be his job to build a squad and give it to a new manager and say, now you have the players, now you have the squad to go out and win things for United. Like, so the players should be looking at it like that.
It's the worst bounce I've ever seen of a manager, like, for a manager coming in, and I'm not blaming him. Like, usually manager comes in and the players play for 3 months and you're like, it was Solskjaer, it was this, it was that. But, like, it's just nothing. Like, it's non-existent. The style of football has not changed. We actually just look disjointed. We don't look at team. And what I found yesterday is every time they get the ball, like, it's like 2-3 passes and then they're trying to do that killer pass. There's no relaxing. There's no playing football. Like, it's just, everything is like we took tip yesterday and the first thing Harry Maguire did was hoof it up top end of the pitch. Like, we're not Stoke.
That's the funniest thing as well, is that, like, they seem determined to make Harry Maguire play in a way that he clearly can't do. Harry Maguire is not fucking Virgil van Dijk. Like, he's not the one. He can't be out there fucking starting attacks from the back and, like, pinging fucking 50-yard diagonal balls across the pitch and, like, picking out passes and shit. He's not that guy. That's not Harry Maguire. Like,
no.
He can't fucking. It takes him 6.5 weeks to turn a full circle. Like, he's too slow. He's too awkward. And he's not good enough. And he never,
was so bad.
never was.
Like, Varane was caused giving the ball away at the start of the goal. But, like, at least he is an excuse. The man's been out for 2 months, like, and he's not 100% match fit. Like, so you could forgive that. But, like, in that same build-up play, like, Harry Maguire got absolutely sold. Like, the step he took, like, he literally, it was like he was doing long jump, like, to block that shot. That Maximus just literally went fake the shot and Maguire's foot, like, my God. Literally. Now, the finish was absolutely incredible and take nothing away from it. Like, it was unbelievable. And Newcastle deserved to win. And they were good yesterday. They were hungrier. But that United team I'm worried, like, because I don't know, like, no Champions League football next year. We're starting to become laughable. It's starting to become, United. Like, so, like, who's going to want to join? And we always attract top players. I've never really worried about that. But we are kind of getting to that. We're just becoming a bit of a meme, like, where it's like, people are just like, United.
Well, that's United for you. Fucked. Speaking of things that are fucked, we did our half-time team of the season in our first episode a couple of weeks ago. Carragher and Neville have picked. Well, they haven't done a full team, or maybe they have, and I haven't seen it. But they did their half-season awards thing on Monday Night Football after the United game. I mean, look, we'll just have a look at it and see what we think. Best player of the season so far, they both picked Salah.
That's a given anyway.
No arguments.
They couldn't argue with each other. We can't argue with them, honestly. It's Mo Salah. Best young player, Phil Foden. What do you guys think of that choice? Like,
I mean, like,
really, best?
There's not too many that are doing more this season. I get it. Do I agree with it 100%? No.
Don't they give it to him every year?
You got it last year as well.
Like, didn't Phil Foden, they give him, like, at the end of the season, they always give Phil Foden best young player as well.
Yeah, he'll still be getting it when he's Lingard's age.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
He'll be like
look, I don't know. I think
Jesse Lingard.
There's no denying Phil Foden is a talent. Like, he's a very, very talented player. But I don't know if I'd give him, on the basis of this season, best young player in the Premier League.
Yeah,
so,
who would you give it to?
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah. Well, like, if you look at the
I give it to Mason Mount or somebody ahead of Phil Foden, though. Either, like, to be honest.
That's just because Mason Mount is better than Phil Foden. It's a given.
I think Foden's a very good player, like, but I don't know what they're looking at. Look, maybe I don't watch City and I don't watch Foden play enough for these things, but I just think there's other shouts there that should have.
I think if we are going purely off performance and, like, pure, like, not pure. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm still half asleep. Like, if we're going off, like, how someone has played all season consistently, you'd have to give it to Conor Gallagher because he's playing week in, week out. Whereas, like, with City's squad rotation, Phil Foden's not playing every single week. Like, he might come on and play for the majority of a half or the majority of the second half or whatever, but he also might get substituted. He might not start. He might be rested the following week. He's not playing week in, week out. So you can't go and say that Phil Foden is the best young player, even though he doesn't play every single week, because you can chop and choose which games he's played great in and which he hasn't.
But that's been the case against Foden, I think, every time they pick him. They gave him, I think it was last season as well, they gave him Best Young Player of the Year, and they might have given it to him the year before as well. And it's the same thing, like, I think last season people were saying, oh, Foden, Best Young Player of the Year, and people who disagreed, the argument was that he only played like 18 games for City or something. Like, it's not him, it's the fact that Pep has so much talent there that he changes the front three like every game or two, and Foden just doesn't play every week. Whereas Conor Gallagher, I think, like, he's also playing for Crystal Palace.
And
like
doing bits.
He's like 20 years of age or something. He's in on loan at Crystal Palace, and he's walked straight into that Palace team and it is absolutely tearing it up for them. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just think I think it would have been Conor Gallagher if I could have picked anybody there. They've gone best summer signing, which is something they do every year that we didn't really talk about. Carragher picked Aaron Ramsdale and Gary went for Jose Sa.
Ramsdale was a good shout, to be fair. I couldn't really argue with that. The one thing I do think about Ramsdale is a lot of his saves are exaggerated. I do think he is a very good keeper, like technically and like as a shot stopper, but I do think a lot of his saves are exaggerated, like for the camera type saves that you could easily make, but he gives it that little half second so he can fuck himself 10 yards across the goals and make it look like it was hard for him.
Yeah, he likes to show off with his saves. He's like Joe Hart used to be the same. I think he loves, it could be a handy little punch and he'll do like a big fucking theatrical backflip dive type thing and then get up and give it the fist pumps like he's fucking saved a penalty in the World Cup final or something. But no, he's a good keeper, to be fair, and I think Arsenal needed it. Like, again, I think you have to you probably, for signings of the summer, there wasn't any. I don't think any of the big signings of the summer really kind of like hit the ground and went, this is, wow, what a signing. There's no real like standout or anything.
Yeah, like if you would have said at the start of the season, you would have been looking like, maybe you would have been like Grealish, Lukaku was definitely one, Ronaldo coming in, would have been another one. You definitely would have been Sancho. Oh my God, like Christ Almighty, like he definitely would have been like one to watch. And I'm not blaming him, but definitely just a United problem at the minute. But yeah, there's so many signings actually that hasn't hit the ground running that we thought would have, to be honest.
For such a what ended up looking like a massive transfer window with because like you said, like you had Lukaku and Ronaldo and Sancho and Varane and even Saul going to Chelsea, Grealish going to City. Yeah. Like there was a lot of big signings, and realistically, none of them have really they've not set the league on fire or anything, like, for the most part. I don't know. I suppose probably Ramsdale. Jose Sa is an interesting one from Gary. I was watching the clip of him talking about it, and Jamie was making fun of Gary because he said up until half time in the United match, Gary's was Cristiano Ronaldo. He changed it.
Like,
he changed
Did he change it?
Carragher said he said why'd you change it or somebody was laughing at me. He was like, what? I did. He said, yeah, I did change it. It was like, yeah, it was Ronaldo up until half time in the match there. I don't know. That's probably
exaggerated. Pissed him off with the whinging, but
best coaching performance. Then they went for Pep. Pick Guardiola. Even what's his face, the other guy that's on Monday Night Football, I can never think of his name, was surprised because he was like, well, we normally throw in this one. We thought this would give you an opportunity to pick, like David Moyes or like somebody in one of the lesser teams, smaller clubs that are doing really well or something. And they were both like, nah, it's Guardiola. That's it.
No, like I think Moyes probably in the last couple of weeks, like West Ham's form has dropped, so probably lost a bit on that. But I'd still be going for David Moyes. Like Pep, look at the team he has. Like,
you put David Moyes in charge of that team, he'd probably do something similar.
Yeah,
it's
I think
rocket science to coach a bunch of world class players. Like,
it's the age old argument against Pep is that he can't do it unless he has an unlimited budget and the world's best players. Like,
yeah,
I'd
No.
believe Everton. Like, I would be of the opinion he's a good manager, like a really good manager. But again, like you were saying, if he was put into a team like Spurs, who don't have an unlimited budget, or like the world beaters that City
Yep.
have, would he do the same job? Maybe like after a couple of years he might, but like he walked into City and won the league in no time. He goes to Barcelona, was winning everything, Bayern winning everything.
He like Pep's career in all of his jobs. He's inherited
Really
a
talented
team
players.
full of world class players that had already won league titles and European titles, and he's made them the same. Like the Barcelona team. Barcelona's the one maybe where you could see, okay, clearly he improved them, but he also had prime Lionel Messi, prime Xavi, prime Iniesta, prime
Probably
Busquets.
the greatest team that probably ever existed.
It's
Probably the best
yeah,
back
do
four
you
in
know
the
what I
world
mean?
at the
Like-
time.
It's definitely that Barca team was just ludicrously full of talent, like from top to bottom. And then like Bayern Munich, he didn't improve Bayern Munich. Like they were already
And they're still
No, actually,
pissing
I
away
think
German league.
I think he brought them back in
Yeah.
Europe. He definitely brought them
Didn't
back because they
improve them.
contended before Pep in fucking Europe for the Champions League. I think for a couple of seasons, Pep came in, they didn't contend, and I think if you put him at Dortmund, put him at Liverpool, put like the Klopp has done a better job at Liverpool than Pep has done at
Yeah,
City. And I'll
facts.
argue that all day long. Like he's actually, I think Klopp is twice the manager Pep is, like, because he's had money at Liverpool, but he doesn't have the wages. He doesn't have like the job he done at Dortmund for years, fighting against that fucking Bayern Munich who were untouchable and robbing players off him every year. Like, you put Pep in either of them situations, and to be honest, I think he'd crumble. Like,
yeah. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Pep just once, just get sick of this little, because this is the dig that everybody has against Pep. Like no matter what he wins, the argument is always going to be, well, why doesn't he go start with a seventh place team and build them up to something? I'd love to see him go and do it just to see, because he's clearly, nobody's saying he's not a good manager. Like that's the thing. It's just like his accomplishments don't have as much of shine on him because of the resources and the teams that he takes over.
Like has he ever had to do a rebuild?
Not off the top of my head.
Like
yeah.
he
Like rebuilding, coming in, building on the team, but like, has he at Barca had to rebuild? Did he have to rebuild at City again? You know, where it's like he just seems to have rebuild. The fucker has like 2 fucking first class teams, so he's nearly 2 rebuilds. But you know what I mean? Like,
he built 2 teams for City, I suppose. Technically, he came in, he spent fucking £300 million on fullbacks in a summer. Like he was just like, oh whatever. Like it's that kind of rebuild. It's not like he's never had to work within a budget or had to work with what he's given. Like it's just like, what do I need? I can't do. Oh, we need a centre half. Well, I'll just go out and buy the best centre half in the world. That's fine. Like it's it's not like
Even in a position, if you put him in like Lampard had when he came to Chelsea, like a team that has a transfer ban, so just sold their best player, can't really do anything, and all we have to work with is the players that are left over and then the academy. And you'd love to see what he can do in a situation like that. Even if it's like it could still be one of the best clubs, like the top clubs in England or Germany or whatever, but a situation where he can't just rely on the transfer market to fix his problems. And he has to...
And he's bald as well. So fucking...
He's smart though, isn't he? like the teams he picks, like Bayern Munich, City, unlimited funds, good structures.
It's hard to fault him on that, I suppose.
Well, speaking of budgets and unlimited funds and transfers, transfer window starts this Saturday, isn't it? I think it's this coming Saturday. So we'll chat real quick about. Well, first of all, do you think your clubs will do anything in January? Do you think Anton is is there any major ins and outs going to come for Chelsea first? I suppose.
I think
in the January
Ross
transfer
Barkley
window
has to go. Ross Barkley is the biggest waste of a wage in Chelsea Football Club, and I really hope they get rid of him. If I could pay to terminate his contract today, I would. I absolutely cannot stand him. He is a waste at Chelsea. He is fucking brutal. And the only reason he plays is because he wants to play for a transfer.
Where does he go?
Anywhere but
Back
Chelsea.
to Everton? I think Everton would have him back.
What's his cap
Yes.
then, Adam? Watching him, like, what's his level?
Championship. He's not
Really?
fucking... He's definitely not a Chelsea player. Now, he might fucking shine at Brighton or something, or Aston Villa, where he was on loan last year, but he is a low table Premier League player, if not a Championship player.
Can you say Ross Barkley is a Championship player so I can clip it?
Ross Barkley is a Championship player, and I will have nobody tell me otherwise. He is fucking dreadful. He goes out every time I see him come on for Chelsea, it breaks my heart. Like when we made those changes and it was Saul and Barkley coming on in the Champions League, I actually wanted to cry. Like imagine being so desperate for players and having that many injuries that we're literally resorting to bringing on Ross Barkley in the Champions League to make a difference. Or not in the Champions League, in the Premier League.
Hey, he paid fucking 30-something million
Because
pounds for
the season we bought him, he was class. He came,
clutch
played for
signing,
Chelsea, he was okay in the first season, and then did absolutely fuck all after that. Then we sent him on loan
Yeah, it's fair.
to Villa for a season. He did all right there, and then he came back and somehow made it back into the squad. I don't know how he does it
Safe
or
to
who he's
say,
sucking off
Adam-
at Chelsea, but he shouldn't be there. He needs to go.
How much do you think? Not how much you would sell him for. How much do you think the club would want for him?
Probably like
at this point,
20 million. 15, 20 million.
Do you reckon they take? Do you reckon they take that, or would they want their money back? How old is Ross Barkley now?
He's like
28,
28 or
27,
29 or
28.
He's one of them players that's deceiving because you kind of go, he's young enough, but he's been around a long time too.
He was at Everton a few years. Like I think he was at Everton longer than he himself expected to be. I think he thought he'd get a move away from Everton
He's 28.
before that. Like
Yeah.
28, yeah, sounds about.
But I
right.
don't think the
He's kinda
Everton fans
Wayne
would take him back.
Rooney-esque, who's been compared
Because, like, speaking to a few of the lads that are Everton fans, they despise him because of the way he forced a move from Everton to Chelsea. He was asked, he was going to leave, but he was going to leave on a free, but he wasn't going to get any money from it. So he signed another contract with Everton and then left the following year so he could get more money. And, like, that's a really, really ratty thing to do if you're trying to leave a club.
What's a fucking hero?
And, like, I don't know. I just don't like him
play
as a
to you, Ross.
person. He annoys the shit out of me. If I could sell him tomorrow, like I said, I would. I just don't like him.
Anyone else, Adam? Any coming in? Any more going out by Barkley, who you're definitely probably going to sell yourself?
Not that I can think of, really. I can't really see anyone we need to get rid of. I'd love to call back Gallagher and fucking Gilmore to have a bit more midfield depth, but we can't because they've made their appearance.
You don't think? Yeah. You don't think there's any big, like, you don't think see Chelsea going out and spending any money in January?
Nothing major. They might bring in a centre half, if anything. I couldn't see them doing anything more. It'll be the summer. I think they'll go for Rice in the summer.
Koundé.
And Koundé, yeah. I think he'll come in as well.
100 bajillion pounds.
After they'll probably let Rudiger go, which I really don't think they should. Rudiger and Christensen, it's looking like.
Jeez, yeah.
Rudiger will go to
Rudiger's
Real Madrid and Christensen will go to Barcelona.
A lot of clubs lining up for Rudiger, I think, this summer. If Chelsea do let him go.
I'd write a blank
United.
check and leave it on the table. Take what you like, Tony. Honestly, he's class.
Get the contract. Put it on the table.
He is one of the best centre halves in the league, and I don't care what people say that he's terrible in the back four. It's just not the case. He's one of the best centre halves in the league. I'm not going to say he is the best centre half in the league. So everybody in TikTok can relax. He's one of.
Am I being crazy though? Rudiger wasn't a centre half when Chelsea signed him.
Yeah.
Was he?
He's always played centre half.
Did he not? Did he not play fucking CDM for a little while?
No. He might have in like one or two games where we were struggling, but he's always been a centre half. He was shite at the start, but like now he's
had a Mandela effect. Totally thought he was a CDM at one point. United, Shane.
I think United's going to be like a train
outs.
station, to be honest. I think Lingard will probably go. It depends how greedy he is. I think he has his eyes on a free transfer in the summer and kind of put down whatever you want. Kind of. Martial is gone. I think Mata will probably go too. I'd say I think there'll be a lot of people going. I'd say if Donny doesn't get played in the next couple of weeks, he should go. He should save his career like that. But yeah, I think we'll sign a CDM as well. I think Ragnick will probably won't be any like Declan Rice 60 million. It'll be like a 15 million European player that he knows is half decent. That's probably anyone half decent is 3 times better than what we have in midfield at the minute anyway. So I think he'll definitely bring in someone because like he knows European football. So I'd say he probably has his eyes. But Lingard, I'd say Martial will be gone.
You can have Ross Barkley if you want.
To be honest, there'll be a lot of it. I'd say, to be honest.
There should be. I
think it is.
Yeah, Phil Jones. Phil Jones will probably go if he's fit. Yeah. So there's plenty movement, I'd say, in January, but we need a couple in, I think, to be honest.
Do you think you're going to have to replace Ronaldo at the end of the season? Or start looking for one?
If we get Europa League, he won't stay anyway. He won't play in the Europa League, but I'd say it depends. Like it really depends on the situation. Like and on both. Like United would be happy to keep him anyway commercially. Where does he go? Who does he go to? Like who has he got a better chance of winning the league with, or winning the Champions League or anything with? Because that's what he is, Champions League player now. Like like he's not going to win the league with United. Like Champions League, you never know. Like you honestly don't know.
This way in the German league.
Do you think he go back to Portugal?
No, because he won't win. Maybe, but he won't get the wages though. He won't get 500-600 grand a week off Sporting. Like,
yeah, surely.
Do you think he'll care at 38 years of age?
After this, like that's surely at this season, realistically, no club is going to give a 38-year-old that much money.
No, I think it depends on what way the season goes. Like, if we get Champions League football, he'll probably stay. But if he gets service, he'll score. Like, fact, like everyone is turning to Ronaldo. Turn this. Like, I'm not denying that his attitude is fucking needs work. But like he's not getting service. He's extremely frustrated, and if you give him service, he'll score 30 goals a season at 37.
It's true. This is true.
But I don't see him going out. But it's not working out the way everyone thought it was going to work out, and that's not on him. Like, you bring him in, and you've no one to play him the ball. But I don't know. I don't know. That'll be something for the summer, I suppose. See where we finish. Like, if we get knocked out in the last 16, and it's probably
all burst game over.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I think that United team, like, we were at a stage where we kind of look like we've rebuilt, and now it's like a few players, 3 or 4 players that you're looking at the exit door. Pogba's gone. He's not going to sign a contract, and I don't think they should have the contract out there. He hasn't accepted it. Like, have some like pride and take the contract off the table. You're sitting there going, here's the contract, please sign it, and he's there now in January going to be talking to clubs. Like, I'd be like, no.
And his fucking agent will be in the papers stirring shite as per usual.
Yeah, I just said he hasn't performed at United either. Like, and I don't know if that's a thing of just United over the last decade, a bit on us and a bit on him, but he hasn't performed. Like, he hasn't. He's had good games here and there. He hasn't shined. Like, he hasn't been consistent at all. So yeah, I wouldn't be losing any sleep if we lost him, to be honest. But
he's not good enough.
No, because I don't give a shit about. No, people are like 60 million, 80 million down the drain. Couldn't care. It's not my money. It's it's Glazers. So
the Glazers.
Let them go. Like, I don't care. Like, probably what'll happen is the most commercial thing ever. They'll put 500 grand on the table, and Pogba will have 4 to 5 good games a season for the next 4 years until he probably goes to America or something.
China.
Yeah, that's true.
China.
No, sorry.
China.
China.
But I don't know. I think that'll be us anyway. I think we'll get CDM in, and hopefully we'll start playing some sort of football. But there'll be plenty of outs. And there's a lot of trouble behind the doors there, I reckon. So I'd say there's a lot of players unhappy. But I'd say I move on to Liverpool because I'm just depressed off my head.
I'd be very surprised if there was any outs at Liverpool, to be honest. I'd be very surprised. I think there's a couple of players that in the summer like if I was them, I would want to move on at this point. Divock Origi, as much as I love the man, like he is an absolute icon, and I think at this stage he's earned fucking Liverpool legend status just simply for being who he is. But I think he probably will look to be shifted out in the summer. Like there's a couple of like bit part players there that are probably, they'll ship off for 10 or 15 million and we'll get rid of them. Ins, like I think we desperately need more backup in the forward positions. Like the drop off between, because this is Liverpool's big problem this year is AFCON, right? So we play Chelsea on January the 2nd, and that's from that game on, Salah and Mane are gone for at least a month, potentially 6 to 8 weeks. That's a lot of the season, like that they're just gone. I think there's even rumours this year that Joel Matip, even though he hasn't played international football in 4 or 5 years, wants to go back and do one more AFCON this year with Cameroon. So he could be gone as well. I think they're trying to talk him. They're talking to him about it or something. There's only rumours at the minute that he's gone. Naby Keita is gone as well. So when we go from say Mane, Jota, Salah, and then when they're gone, it drops to Jota moves probably out to the left, and then it's Firmino is back in middle, probably if he's fit, and then who have you got? You've got like Minamino or Oxlade-Chamberlain or somebody plays on the right. Like it's just the drop there is ridiculous. So like we need, even if honestly if we spent 30 million on somebody, we know for a fact Salah's gone. Somebody to come in and play that right wing position. They're gonna get 15 games immediately. Somebody like just, I think we have to. I think the big rumor is Jared Bowen from West Ham. I don't think we're gonna get him in January. I don't think he's gonna want to leave West Ham in January with the way Moyes is running things, and kind of like I think Moyes has pretty much convinced all those players that to stay at least for this season. Like I'd say. So I don't think we'll get him in January, but I think we need somebody. I'd be surprised if they do, because they're not like the way Liverpool are in the transfer market. Like they don't necessarily like if it's not, they don't like just throw a signing at a problem as like a quick fix. They don't sign somebody unless it's like a player that's going to be in and around the club for a few years, like that they think is actually going to improve. But if it's not in January, we have to strengthen the forward line in the summer.
That's a serious issue though, because like City, yous are the closest to City this season to stop them, like, and losing them, you can't afford to, like, you need
City are losing no one as well.
That's the thing. No, I don't think City have any African players, do they?
I don't think so. Because I know we're losing Mendy.
Well, maybe, but
he's only the goal. Well, he's not only the goalkeeper, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's not even like it wouldn't be. It's a problem that we should have fixed before now. Realistically, like, do you know what I mean? I think I think Klopp and everybody else at the club probably thought Minamino was going to push on a little bit more after we signed him. It's mad to think that we played that Salzburg team and their front three was Haaland, Minamino, and Saliba, and we signed Minamino out of the three of those. Like, but to be fair, he was the best in the 2 games they played against us. He was unreal, and he's not a bad player, but just the drop in quality, but from the starting front three to what's below them is way too big. Like, other than that, I don't know. I don't see many players. I don't think we have the depth at the minute to look to be moving players on in January. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I suppose that'll cover it for this week, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for checking in. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas, I suppose. Have a great New Year's from all of us. And we'll see you guys back again next week sometime, probably. And we'll chat more and we'll catch in. The transfer window will probably be open then, so who knows? We'll see who's making some moves and see what the transfer rumors are. There's always there's always some crazy ones that get thrown around that make no sense whatsoever. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. Until then, have a good one.